up? You know, I'm gonna do exactly what I did with the Spence fans. To you Canelo fans that were in my comment section, you know, the olive branch is extended for you. You are still welcome to this channel. You don't have to be ashamed. Uh, you know, you couldn't help it. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to be nice. Some of you I did get crazy with, but you know, you know, this is a boxing channel. You know what I'm saying? Uh, oh man, you know, I'm not gonna do you guys too wrong. You know, this should be a good learning experience for a lot of you guys. Same thing happened to me with Mike Tyson, you know, Roy Jones, whoever else. It sucks when you see your hero lose, you know what I'm saying? It really does. And you learn not to idolize men, you understand? And there is that old adage, you know, you never want to meet your hero. You know what I'm saying? I met Floyd Mayweather. It was a cool experience, but, you know, I learned my lesson by then. So there was a lot more respect, you know. I met Gamboa too. At the same time, I met Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather was actually a cool guy. You understand? It was in Club O. It was 2001 New Year's. It was at Caesar's Palace. I don't know if it's still called Club O today. But, you know, celebrating New Year's. And Kevin Kelly, a lot of you don't know him. It's the guy that Prince Nassim beat in New York, which was a very extravagant victory. You know, a lot of people hate on Prince Nassim, you know. I always loved Prince Nassim back in the day. But Kevin Kelly was there. I got to meet him. Leonard Ellerby was there as well. And I was telling my boy, I'm like, hey, that's Floyd Mayweather. You know, dude, he's like the greatest fighter. And Floyd heard me. This is a club, dude. It was loud. The music was blasting. Back then it was 50 Cent in the club was playing and all this nonsense. I can remember all those kind of small details. But during this loud noise, Floyd was cool. He's a very cool, humble person. He actually came up to me and shook my hand. And, you know, it was a cool little experience. But typically, as the old adage is typically proven, you never want to meet your heroes. You understand? And a lot of you, this was just a learning lesson for you. That's all this truly was. A lot of you are going to mature and you're going to grow and you're going to learn from this. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. It's something that we all go through. Puppy love. You got to learn to get that heart broken. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn lessons from this. So hopefully that happens for a lot of you. I kind of wanted to go back over the night. I didn't talk about the Billy versus Martinez fight, which I thought was an amazing fight. Dude, that Billy, you know, I'm not trying to be racist here. I know he's from France, I believe, but that dude must have been training with gorillas in the jungle or something, dude. That dude is a killer. You know what I'm saying? That work rate and everything else, you know, was pretty amazing to see. Of course, it was second fiddle to Terrence Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez. But that man was, you know, he's a very brutal guy. And lucky for Lester Martinez, he's a young man. He still has testosterone and things like that. You know, when you're young, you can do a lot of stupid things and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? But what I was most impressed with was the maturity of Lester Martinez. He didn't freeze up to the moment. And I believe that the draw was definitely justified. You know, I watched a number of the fights. I just didn't comment on them. I like to see who's up and coming, whatever else. You know, but he was starting to finally understand, you know, you couldn't sit there and just play Mexican standoff with that guy. You know, and he did start to finally understand that when he implements some range, jab him as he tries to cross the threshold to get back into the Mexican standoff. And he was starting to land some big shots and it started to slow Billy down. So I saw it as a very good experience for that young fighter. You know what I'm saying? He even started implementing a little bit of lateral movement, things like that. You know, he's a young guy. There's a lot of areas that he can improve, and there's no reason for Lester Martinez to count this as a loss. You know what I'm saying? This is a great learning experience, and it's actually in your losses that you learn more than in your wins. You know, you become kind of blinded and stupid if you win all the time. The losses are, you know, what drove people like, you know, a Michael Jordan or even a Roy Jones, you know what I'm saying? And we just saw recently Roy Jones today, or this past week, he was given his Olympic gold medal back. So that's a good thing. I don't really want to talk about Vargas. That fight was very lackluster. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have respect for both guys getting in there and doing what they did, but you know, I will talk about Vargas. I noticed a little bit too much flash and trying to psych yourself up on the build-up. He did humble himself and congratulate what's his name after he lost, but you were too focused on the flashiness. You got the tattoos and things. And listen, Vargas is a good guy. Let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? He's a hard worker. He was good at basketball. He was a very athletic dude. You know what I'm saying? I know more about these fighters than you guys even know. You know, and this is a guy, he's just one of those guys, you know, being such athletic and having those types of gifts. You know, he's a late bloomer in boxing, things like that. But you were focusing too much on the flash, sir. Like, you're driving these crazy, ridiculous trucks and things like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got a real lesson in that ring tonight, and hopefully you can grow from that. I think if he focuses more on the craft and things like that, you know, let's not worry about the camera being in front of us and things like that. You can easily get dude in the rematch if you guys are going to have a rematch. You know what I'm saying? You did show some good things in there, but neither guy could really separate themselves. So, you know, I can't really say much about that. But these young fighters, it's always maturity. You know, it's this effeminate society that's raising these boys today. And like I said, Vargas, man, I have so much appreciation for his father. You know, we've talked about Fernando Vargas on this channel plenty of times. You know, I believe he was a guy who could easily milk his career, and he could have ranked and got a lot more success, but he's still blessed. You know what I'm saying? God is always taking care of Fernando Vargas, and it's translated in his children. The dude just needs to stop focusing on the flash. Don't worry about the tattoos and jewelry and shades and all that crap, and don't worry about the camera too much, and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? And again, there's nothing wrong with losing. It's where you're going to learn more of your life lessons in life, guys. It's just that simple. And you're going to love those losses, you know, in a lot of cases, more so than your victories. You know what I'm saying? Kind of be, like I said before, you get drunk in that type of stuff. As far as the Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford fight, I'm not going to go too crazy again. But I will say this. You know, even when they tried to shift the narrative for Canelo Alvarez, because they saw what it was, the guy who was scoring the fight live, you know, couldn't even mess around with the scorecard too much. But, you know, they're giving him crap today, the dude who scored during the fight. You know, it was more even the first 4 rounds, and I'm seeing they're still trying to push narratives and things like that today. You understand? Boxing got to witness what boxing actually is, the science of the sport again. It's not this fake, dumb, narrative-driven, you know, reality TV type nonsense. You understand, where you got to make sure you got to establish a narrative. This is what drives me crazy as well. The punch stats drive me absolutely insane. I know for a fact Canelo did not land 99 punches. And this is what I do when I do these predictions. I actually go over the punch stats. That's how crazy I get with this stuff. And I see who they're trying to make look better than what they are and who they're trying to make look worse. And this has always been the case, and I mentioned this in the lead up to this fight. You know, that's just one of the steps I take in this, you know, and the film and everything else combined with that. But you know what I'm saying? But, you know, even in the 5th round, which was the first round, they all tried to build and tell the narrative that Canelo finally did something. That was the same round where this dude tried to bench Crawford like a squat bar. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. The results speak for themselves. You know, the Canelo fan base, a lot of you, you're still distraught, you're hurt and everything else. You know, don't be one of those guys that distorts reality and denies reality and tries to subvert it and invert something else in its place to make you feel better. You're going to grow if you actually accept reality. It's going to make you a stronger, better man. That's all I really got to say at the end of the day, man. Don't be one of those idiots that has to create false narratives and rely on lies, you know, coping with life. The truth, you know, it is written that the truth will set you free, and it is the truth, man. You guys got to accept this loss. And like I said, it's a great opportunity for a bunch of you. As much crap as I do want to talk, you know, I'm trying to humble myself right now. You understand? Because, like I said, uh, who cares about, you know, getting validation from other people, whatever else. I've learned in my own life lessons. Even when you do have a clean record and all this other stuff, you know, it could be taken from you in a day, and next day you're this, you know, worst man on earth or whatever else. You know, I've dealt with this process in my life as well, being stripped of everything due to lies and whatever else. But it is what it is. I thought, just want to encourage you guys, you know, and just tell you that it's not the end of the world. You know, I'm not even trying to joke right now, but some of you, this is really just, you know, there's a lot of bitterness and soreness right now, and it shouldn't even be like that. You know, just take this as a life lesson and continue on. You know, refine yourself and get better. Actually, I forgot this portion of the video I wanted to address as well. This is pretty stupid, and I hate how they're doing this. But they're trying to denigrate Floyd Mayweather, you know, now that, you know, Bud did what he did. And Bud was given this question last night, and they tried to push this narrative of Canelo as well. And of course, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. Bud answered this question correctly. You know, Floyd was the, you know, I don't like to use that term, GOAT, but the best of his era, and Crawford is the best of this era. And that's pretty much it. That's just the bottom line. Legacy media, access media, they don't need to do this where we now, you know, and understand Floyd was fighter of the decade. You understand? But, you know, now they got to take shots at Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? You guys had no problem with Canelo cherry picking all this other stuff, you know, and we're still trying to villainize Floyd to this day. You know, especially since a black fighter basically made their fighter look, you know, less than. There's no reason to try to cancel Floyd. Both were great at their respective times, and both were proven to be the best of their generation. So it's just that simple. It's just like in the movies, the token black guy who's at the party with all the white people, and if another black guy shows up, you know, that other black guy has to leave. You know what I'm saying? Hey, these people are still at it. You know, this part of boxing is pretty pathetic. Your guys' creation, you understand, just got decimated. You all need to stop with the lying and the narratives, you know, but they'll never stop. You know, it is what it is. Crawford today is once again proved everybody wrong, but they're going to little by little try to continue to pick and prod at this victory, which they're already doing. And like they already showed you, just like with the punch that I was mentioning earlier, it's pretty pathetic, but this is why your guys that you try to prop up like Canelo always fall short against guys like the Floyd Mayweathers and Terrence Buck Crawfords, you know, of their eras. So I guess this game just resets and restarts again, and they're going to try to refine what it is they need to do next time when they create their next media creation and fake fighter, as the world is always going to do. We've talked about this. You guys, you know, you don't see this stuff as spiritual, but I'm telling you, this is precisely how the Antichrist is going to be built up. He's going to be an industry plant, and his rise is going to seem organic. You know, this is one of the main reasons why I even care to talk about boxing today. You know, and the road is going to follow him. You know, he's going to win the popularity contest. He's going to check all the boxes. He can do no wrong, even when he's going to be doing some pretty horrific things. And, you know, this is just the secular world process. And again, this machine never quits. But, you know, in the end, this machine, you know, what you saw Crawford did to guys such as Errol Spence, such as Canelo Alvarez. Well, I'm trying to tell you, we have no concept of victory till the Lord our God comes back here. And he's not going to be playing games. I'm just trying to tell you guys. It's not even a matter of if there's a fight or a fighting chance for the enemy. The enemy is going to get blown away in ways that you can't even comprehend. So I want to go ahead and end this video on that note. I will talk to you guys later. And that's all I really got to say for now. I'll talk to you guys, I guess, next fight or whatever else, you know. Bye.